Housing is different all over the country. Different styles, different materials, different costs. If you're moving or relocating to the Central Ohio area and thinking about buying a home, you're going to want to watch this video because I'm going to break down the 4 big differences between our housing here in Columbus that may not be the norm from where you're coming from. And it all starts right now. So let's go! Now, before I get started, for those of you that are new to me or new to my channel, my name is Mark Van Stein. I make videos about real estate and living here in Columbus, Ohio. I want to give you, the viewer, a really good understanding of what it's like to live here. If you enjoy the video, please hit that thumbs up button down below and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my new content. Now, some of this content I realize could seem a little bit boring, but trust me, after selling real estate for the last 20 years, it's super valuable. The number one mistake I see buyers make is being naive, whether it's your first home or your 10th. The most important thing you need to do when you purchase a home, other than really like it, is make sure it's a good investment. And that's what I focus on with my clients, and that's what watching this video is going to help you do. Let's start off real quick with how to search for a home. It's one of the biggest headaches people have when they're moving to Columbus, Ohio, especially if they want to live in a specific school district. Searching for homes seems like it should be easy. You've got these websites that are out there, Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, right? They are all really nice websites and well designed, but they can make it difficult, especially if you're searching in the Columbus area. The reason being is that Columbus and the way it's divided up can be super confusing. For instance, you could live in the city of Columbus with a Columbus address and go to Dublin schools. Or you could live in the city of Dublin and attend Hilliard schools. Or even where I live in Powell, there are 3 different school districts: Worthington, Dublin, and Olentangy. So if schools are important to you, make sure you search by that district, not by the city, the area, or even the zip code. I get inquiries all the time from buyers about properties, and I have to ask the question, yes, it's in the city of Dublin, but it's Hilliard schools. Does that make a difference to you? If schools aren't important to you, then my next suggestion is to use the draw feature. Many of the cities and zips spill out into other suburbs and parts of town. And most buyers, when they really narrow things down, really want to focus on 1, 2, or maybe even 3 areas they want to live. So use that draw feature. By this point, you might be like, hey, I like this Mark guy. He seems to really care about his clients, and I want him to help us purchase a home. Well, I am a licensed RE/MAX Realtor here in Columbus. See that number on the screen? You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, however you want to reach out. I'm pretty easy to find. Number 2 is basements. Man, I can make a whole 15-minute video just on basements and basement questions alone. Basements are great and very common here in Central Ohio. If you're purchasing a single-family home, I highly recommend that you do so one that has a basement. It's going to add value to the property and possibly hurt the value if it doesn't have one. But just because it has a basement doesn't mean it will provide a great deal of value. There are a couple of characteristics that you're going to want to look for. First is ceiling height. Many new construction homes have what we call 10-core ceilings, which equates to about 9.5-foot ceiling before it would be finished. What this allows for is to have a normal high ceiling in a lower level if you decide to turn it into living space, which a lot of people here in Central Ohio will do. In older construction back in the 70s and 80s, and even sometimes today, 8-foot ceilings were installed, and they're just not going to be that desirable. I just showed a home in Lewis Center last week to a client whose house had one of these issues. It's a nice ranch home built in the early 2000s, but it had this 7-foot ceiling. Now, why the builder decided to do this, I have no idea. I'm sure it was to save money. But now this house has this low ceiling, and it's going to affect its value forever, and my clients ended up passing on the home. And this is a perfect example how a small part of a house done improperly will dramatically affect its value forever. The other thing you're going to have to familiarize yourself with are crawl spaces. When most people think about basements in Columbus, they visualize this fully excavated space, but that's not often the case. A crawl space is a portion of the basement that has only been excavated down about a third and has this gravel floor. So I know what your next question is going to be. Why would anyone do this? Well, it's to save money. I often go into new construction homes where you just have this small little space of a basement and the rest is all crawl space. once again, it hurts the lifetime value of this home because most people want a space that they can finish off or throw the kids down there to play or even use for storage. And a basement like that has limitations. So if you're buying a single family home, make sure that most of the basement is excavated. A little bit of crawl space is okay, but the more basement, the better. And now that we've talked a little bit about basements, let's discuss exteriors. There are a handful of different products that make up the majority of the exteriors here in Columbus. First is going to be siding. Most of the siding you're going to find in newer built homes is either going to be a composite of either a fiber cement board called Hardy Plank, which is a brand name, vinyl, or wood. Wood has become much less popular because of its maintenance and cost, and finally you're only going to find in less expensive homes. LP siding, which is another brand name, composite, or Hardy Plank, have really become the gold standard in siding. Homeowners and builders love it because it's very durable, requires little maintenance, and if installed properly, is bug and rot resistant. The other types of exteriors you're going to notice will be stucco, stone, and brick. Stucco is a very popular product here in Columbus. You're going to see them both new construction homes and homes that were built 30 or 40 years ago. The way we do stucco here is much different than the pre-made stucco boards used in other parts of the country. The stucco here is a real cement product that is layered over chicken wire, and again, if done properly, is very low maintenance and should last a long time. Often you will see a combination of stone and stucco or brick and stucco used on homes. It's important to know that most of the stone that we use here is not real, it's a veneer. It's made out of a cement-like product to look like natural stone. Unless a home is older or very, very, very expensive, it's very common to use this type of product. Real stone is just much too heavy, difficult to work with, and hard to source to be used in today's home building. Often what you will see is a mixture of stone and brick, brick and stucco on the front of a house, and then stucco on all the sides. Again, it's very common look here in Columbus, and that just happens to be the style of the homes that we have here. Lastly is going to be the ceilings and the flooring. As you're walking around homes in Columbus, take a moment and look up at the ceiling. What you'll notice is that many will not have a flat finish. It will probably have some sort of pattern or what we call stimpling. This is a very common ceiling finish in every price point. People moving from other cities, especially the East Coast, find this really strange. But unless the house is older, let's say before 1970, or very expensive, you're probably going to see some sort of stimpling. The next question I get is, why, Mark? Well, the simple reason is it's cheaper to finish and hides imperfection. Imagine if you're a drywall finisher. Is it easier to do a flat finish overhead on something, or is it simpler to just put stamps and joint compound? Well, you can probably figure out that answer. In fact, when you custom build a home, it's a pretty expensive upgrade to do a flat finish ceiling. Flooring is going to probably be pretty similar to what you're used to. You'll find a mix of hardwood, tile, carpet, and vinyl throughout much of the price points. By far, hardwood is the most popular, but it's also going to be the most expensive in many cases. Homes that were built prior to 1972, for the most part, all had hardwood floors, even if they were covered up by carpet. After 1972, the builders in town started putting down plywood and other materials because, again, it was cheaper. I always enjoy going into the older homes and lifting up the 60-year-old carpet to find these beautiful hardwood floors underneath. Well, I hope you learned a little bit more about homes here in Central Ohio. Again, if you found the video helpful, please do me a favor. Click that thumbs up button down below. And of course, if you need some professional help finding a home here in Central Ohio, please reach out. You can call me, text me, email me. I'm pretty responsive and easy to find. Until next time.